Hello, Zach and Noy. Welcome to the I Know Bread podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Stoked to be here. This is really cool.
How does it feel for you guys to be voted I Know Bread's favorites?
I think I am still processing everything in my mind with everything in our life.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's super cool. Just to be kind of recognized for some of the hard work we've been putting into our business. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. How did you guys get started? Well, first off, your business is the Photopop photo booth. How did you guys get started in that?
Kind of take us from how it began. COVID, really.
Yeah.
Really?
We all have done some weird things in COVID. And our photo booth wasn't one of the weird ones, but something ambitious that we got into where my background's in cinematography and photography. So it's like, well, what could we do with some of those skills and some of the gear we already had to kind of expand our services that we could offer?
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your gear and your setup.
We offer not just photo booths, but we also offer live portrait studio. High-end DSLR cameras. The photo booth that we ended up going with kind of is its own story.
Do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, maybe you want to start us off on kind of how we got into that photo booth from the beginning?
No, I'm just going to leave that up to you.
Perfect.
Knowing all right, so we want to start a photo booth company as an expansion of what we already doing for video and photo. There's a million different options for photo booths online, and a lot of them are made overseas. There's some made in America. Well, I want to put hands on these. So there just so happens to be the Photo Booth Expo in Las Vegas every year. So we're like, let's go to that and let's check it out and see if there's something there that we like. And went down to Vegas and ordered one. And again, it's COVID times. So we got our first photo booth like a month or so. We bought two when we were at the expo. And one was kind of not as nice. It's just a iPad booth, doesn't have an actual big camera inside. The one we ordered with the DSLR, the bigger camera, took like 5 months to get to us, and the printer that came with it took like almost 10 months.
Did it come with the DSLR?
It did come with one.
Okay. That's crazy though. What do you think that was just because of like COVID time or?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff still, even if it's an American company, a lot of their sourcing is still coming from overseas, and
Gotcha.
we all felt those delays.
Yeah,
that was brutal. So
yeah,
we're like, well, we have to have one to hold us over for like our baby shower was our first event, and we had some other things lined up. So we went with a cheaper one that like we can ship when we get home next week. We'll take it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We fell in love with one, and it was a 14-month or so lead time.
Gosh.
We're like, yeah, well, it's cooler than this one. We really like the aesthetic of is one we can actually have when we buy it from.
That was so tough.
Did you guys end up getting the 14-month lead one?
No, we were it was kind of like a tie one. We did like a little bit more, but we went with the one we still also love, the one we have now that we could get with that super short 5 to 10 time.
Yeah, super short.
So we made it work.
Yeah. So then from there, how did you guys get going?
Your turn.
I think we were just putting ourselves out there as with our friends, as full-time workers as well. Zach and I worked a Monday through Friday job, and we're like, how can we get going? How can we offer our service, and how can we get our name out there? And it was primarily just what friends, who do we know, throwing events and using that as marketing material. Part of the booth that we bought came with marketing material. So that makes it really nice and easy to transition and just kind of put ourselves out there. And that was one of the best things that we enjoyed and why we did go with that company. Yeah, we just offered our services, kind of let everybody know, friends and family, hey, did you know that we also do, well, not only Zach offers photography, but we're in the photo booth industry now.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you still do photo and video, or are you guys mostly just prioritizing the photo booth?
We do. So now I am no longer at my corporate job. So we're just full-time and we have 3 businesses.
And the little one.
Yes.
So we do custom van conversions, and then we do video photo work. So I do mostly adventure and outdoor photography, and then studio, like portraiture stuff as well. And then we have our photo booth business. So
Do you want to shameless plug your photo video name? Or is it the same?
van conversion business. Yeah. And then our video photo business is the Adventure Video Company.
Okay.
Photopop is under that LLC.
Gotcha. Okay. LLCs are fun. I just renamed ours to encompass the podcast. So it's I Know Bread Media instead of I Know Bread Magazine.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I was working on that today. So fresh in my mind.
It's good to have that transition name. Like Zach and I were thinking with our studio, live portrait studio,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, if we expand in any other categories, what do we do?
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about the.
So our live portrait, it's something that we're trying to offer more of a Hollywood glam portrait, like on wheels
Okay.
offer when it comes to events, primarily weddings.
Gal
Oh,
like luxury,
Fun.
kind of high end.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a red carpet experience.
For somebody who doesn't know what a live portrait is, do you want to explain it?
Yeah, so imagine the photo booth with the, the pillar or the column stand and light on top, camera inside. You take that apart and replace it with a human. So live photographer shooting with a professional camera on the spot, and then a live photo retoucher or editor
On
that
the
is
spot?
editing on the spot, light retouching.
Yeah.
You're not gonna, because they have 30 seconds to 2 minutes per photo to edit, and
Yeah.
they're super fast, and it's getting printed on the spot.
That's cool.
And then we'll take the digitals and might retouch them a little more overnight or the next day, and then we give them a digital delivery as well through an online gallery.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's the wow factor afterwards, like the instant satisfaction from
Mhm.
our clients when they get that.
Do you guys notice a lot of wedding bookings for that, or more for just like the regular photo booth?
Well, we just
got on the site.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this your hard launch?
So this, Mhm.
Here we go.
Perfect. Well, I guess maybe as far as timing is when this is published, you might have already hard launched. But
Yes.
anyways, what is one thing your clients would say about working with you guys?
I think they just enjoy working with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try to be the fun vendors, and we, depending on the crowd, if it's like a gala and everyone's dressed to the nines, we're gonna fit in with that crowd. Hat goes forward, you know what I'm saying? We'll do it. We look the part. If it's more of a like fun kind of dancey crowd, then we vibe with that crowd as well. We kind of blend in with the guests and mirror the kind of energy they have. And
Selling insurance on the side.
Yeah. And the professionalism for your grandpa and grandma.
Yeah.
compared to the 20-year-old kids that come up, and
God.
we can also talk to them,
Yeah.
which is harder these days,
Eh,
as we get difference in age.
yes.
Don't know half the fun words, but
Yeah.
we go along with it.
You're like, sure, okay. Just let me take your picture.
That and just quality is like, that's our biggest thing. Like, why hire us, right? It's us, because you're not just hiring equipment, you're hiring an experience.
Yeah.
So our quality, I just think is so up there, coming from a professional photographer and video background, being able to just from day one have everything so dialed in that the quality is just not unmatched, but I like to think it's
Next
the
level.
best. Yeah.
That's good. What would a dream wedding look like for you guys as a vendor?
We probably have different answers on this, but I would say with the live portrait studio, someone liking our work so much that we fly to wherever they're at to go to do this experience.
Yeah.
Because with the photo booth, you really are localized. It's really hard to say. We had a possible event out in Jackson, and they really liked us, but how do you justify paying for us to travel and stay all the way in Jackson during July 4th weekend
Oh.
versus hiring a local that has, comparable quality compared to the live portrait studio as a whole, whole nother level of experience. You're really hiring the photographer, the editor, that you're trusting, similar to if you hired a wedding photographer for an elopement.
Yeah.
You're not hiring a piece of tech, you're hiring people in those like really unique skill sets.
Yeah. How do you guys feel like the trends are shifting as far as guest experience in that kind of service?
I love that people are really starting to think about it. It's like with trends for our photo booth, we don't really do too much trend following, because our market here in Idaho doesn't really follow trends. Like right now, huge in the photo booth industry in the last few years, it was the huge magazine cover box. Shoot, right now it's trading cards are really big.
Oh, really?
The
Like baseball.
Like
Yes.
baseball, old school vintage
Yeah.
baseball cards are like a huge trend right now in the photo booth industry. And I
That's so
just have a
weird.
feeling if we marketed that to
Idaho.
market, no one's gonna
They're
pay
like,
that
"What
kind
is
of money,"
this?"
because some of these things are, to invest in it, you need to be able to recoup that, and you'd have to do like 5-10 events doing this themed
Yeah.
experience, and you're probably not for like a lot of the different trends that happen in the photo booth industry. But we watch the big markets, LA, New York, and there's some cool stuff that get popular and then die off, get popular and die
Mm.
off. And it just seems they never make it here, which is okay for us because we're not trying to do the trendy thing.
Yeah,
We're just trying to do the quality thing.
that's fair. I've definitely noticed that. Just Idaho, either we never catch on or it's like 5-10 years too late. Like,
So true.
almost embarrassing at that point. What are some other of the trends that you're seeing just in the photo booth world?
What have you seen lately? I know the one that's like stuck that we really like because it's a quality based thing is just the glam look. So the Kardashian photo kind of like gave a giant boost to the photo booth world whenever they took this one particular photo. It's black and white, it's soft and on the facial features, it just looks really good.
I think I know. At the collective, you guys took a photo like that.
It's a
Right.
similar style that we do for black and white, and
That looked really
it
good.
just looks so good. It's like
Yeah.
they nailed it. You know, who knows what they paid for that experience? And a lot of people kind of jumped on that look, and yeah, it's kind of taken off. So that is here to stay.
It's like my favorite personally, just
Yeah.
because it's like wall quality and picture frame quality where you just don't ever lose that look. It's so timeless.
It's a classic, yeah, timeless look.
That is true. Yeah. No, and I saw that photo. I was like, it's a really good picture.
I loved it.
and props.
Oh,
Oh,
We're gonna say some controversial
okay. Let's hear it.
props. I don't like.
I don't
think
either.
it makes sense for
holidays.
like holiday parties.
Mm.
If it's a corporate holiday party, if I could rip them out of there, I would in a heartbeat. But it makes sense to me. For weddings, like especially when we're doing more upscale experiences, it's like, well, let's throw in $15 of Amazon stick props. No. We're shooting
Nice
like these
pictures.
glam, shoots that these are photos you could easily take the digitals and frame.
Yeah. Well, and I like going off of that. I've been to a wedding where, and I was just a guest, but they had a photo booth and we like took the pictures, and then afterwards they had the photo booth with the props, and we took pictures with the props, and afterwards I was like, dang, I looked really cute that day. Like I wish we would have done something without the props,
Right?
Because like when you are a guest, like you do get dressed up, and that's probably like, at least for me, a rare experience.
Yeah, I never get photos of myself. I never say, hey, can you take a photo of Zach and I, like really quickly? Normally we're walking by a photo booth or something and it's like, hey, this is our opportunity to get a photo of us. So yeah, having those props, it's like, dang it, that would have been a nice photo of us, without it.
Yeah. Because like in the moment you're like, oh, this is fun. Like, sure.
Exactly.
And then afterwards you were good.
Quality's not there on the photo booth than like props for sure. Like if it's a silly selfie photo booth, right? Sure. But like once you start getting into like, wow, this looks really nice. Okay, so let's put those props away. Still love fake sunglasses and props.
Oh, yeah.
And shoots. Those always look good.
The heart glasses for me.
But it's either all or none for me. So
Yeah.
It's
Prop
hard.
is
Zach,
good.
I'm like, hey, do you want to throw in some props in this? And Zach's like, you know my answer.
selling whenever I'm talking to a potential client about it and they're like, yeah, can you guys do props? I'm like, we can, but if you went to go get studio portraits done of you and your family members and someone brought props, you'd be like, what are you doing?
Right.
Kind of the analogy we use
That's a good analogy.
for this.
With the trends, have you guys seen the trend where everybody wears like the same pair of sunglasses and then it like changes? It's like a video trend. So everybody wears the same set of sunglasses and then you get pictures of everybody and then you frame them in the same square in the middle. So it just goes through.
Oh yeah, where the
Head
sunglasses don't move but the people and faces behind change.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Is that something that you could do with the photo booth, or is that?
It would take time to set it up and have people stay exactly where they're supposed to.
That's fair.
And people are drinking at these events.
Yeah. Yes.
A little more looser
Yeah.
and holding a point, but it's something we could do. It would definitely be like the thing we're trying to do for the event.
That's fair.
It would be a little more challenging, but totally possible with what we do.
Do you guys have any funny or like unexpected stories of things that have happened?
I think we did our first drop off for a wedding one time, and clients don't know that we have access to an online gallery. So occasionally, Zach and I will.
You tell them.
Zach and I will occasionally just kind of look just to make sure, like, hey, the backdrop is all in line, so you're not getting bad photos. So we'll let the wedding planner know, hey, can you adjust the backdrop really quickly? Because on on a wedding day,
Nobody's
bride and
gonna
groom, no,
be.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you want the photo quality to be top notch,
Mhm.
and so scrolling, and then someone flashes their, their behind, and it's like right there by the bar, like where we set everything up, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is an
It's
open.
not a secluded room that a
No.
photo booth's in. It's in the main reception area.
Oh my god.
And it was, I'm like, Zach, did you
Did you
see
this?
that? He's like, what do you? I was like, scrolling. He goes, no. I'm like, yeah,
You know, grandma's 10 feet away, and now there's some cheeks.
love
Oh my
it. Yeah.
gosh. That is so
Photo booth people get wild with them. We always tell them, hey, we're going to monitor everything on the back end to make sure everything looks good.
Mhm. Well, I guess, was that a guest though?
Yeah.
That probably didn't get that relayed.
I don't know if it was a guest or if it was like a bridesmaid. I
We'll
don't know
defend
what.
the cheeks.
Yeah.
It was a girl.
Yeah.
I totally expected, like when I was picturing this, like drunk groomsmen, like.
Normally the guy, right?
Yeah.
It was a girl.
Okay, well, interesting.
So when we delete those photos before we deliver to client.
Good.
Now, if the bride and groom were like, hey, I want my butt cheeks, well, I'll be like, okay,
Well,
gratuities appreciated, but not.
right. Jeez. Do you guys have any other stories?
We've had some, luckily, we haven't had too many wild things happen in the photo booth. Normally, in the middle of the sentence, hey, don't lean against that or else it'll fall. Normally, about then is when they hit the ground, as regardless of how many warnings we share with people that, hey, it's a fabric backdrop. And if we have a wall behind it, we have some devices that can like prop it up against the wall. But there was this one wedding where it was a concrete, like kind of like a tall curb, like a foot tall. We had no way to prop it up against that. And yep, like 3 girls hit the deck.
And the worst thing was Zach was not there at at this particular moment, and it sucked because there was other things that led up to this too. And I'm like turned around and I'm like, and I look around for Zach to kind of like reach out to help, and he wasn't there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm just so glad that they were okay. But
Yeah.
they were just laughing. They're like,
Oh,
oh,
good.
there's no wall back there, and we're like, I was like, yeah.
So we
Told you.
we are cursed with one thing where every time I walk away, if it's a 4-hour wedding, I go to the bathroom or go, grab a
Right.
piece of gear out of the truck or whatever. During that like 2-3 minute period, something always happens.
Naturally.
So
Yes.
even during that event, I walk away for 2 minutes. They fall with the backdrop. Everyone was fine. They were under the influence a tad. And then
Never.
the next time I walked away, sprinklers came on, and this was at a golf course.
Yeah.
This was a fun wedding too. Like we had a blast. So
Yeah.
sprinklers came on, and of course I'm sprinting back to get, because our backdrop is kind of in an area that the sprinklers would probably stop right before it hits it. And so when I get back there, noise moved the backdrop, and the guest helped her move it.
Yeah.
Oh,
buckets.
good.
And then I'm walking to go get something, and because the sprinklers had come on, I step in like 4 inches of water. So now my left foot is soaking wet for the next 2 hours of the event. And then we had a 2-hour drive back from that event. So
Do you bring extra shoes now?
should.
I mean, I
Take
guess
chances.
that's fair. Do you guys have any traditions or rituals you do before each wedding or event?
We tried to make up a bunch of fun ideas of stuff we would do.
Yeah.
Probably not appropriate for the podcast too, but we really don't. We don't have that many traditions. We try to remember to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
That's
you-
the hard part.
Yeah.
And then our little daughter Zoe, she's 2, and she's in so many test photos. And then a lot of times I'll open the photo because we test everything before we go. Like another reason. All right, side tangent for a sec.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that we pride ourselves on is like not just being prepared, but we bring backups of everything. So we actually test our events on the device, even though they're built-in software. We test them on the device to make sure they work. And then so we bring backup cords, flash transmitters, really everything. And we test it all. So going back to the question, there's like a million photos where it's like my face and the fan from the roof, because I have the photo booth like laying there and I'm testing every event. And
Yeah.
it's like the worst photos that you could ever
Like
take.
opening up your phone and you're like, actually.
Yeah, like shooting it from down here with the fan above you. So hundreds of those. We delete them all before we start the event, but just to make sure all the graphics look right and all that stuff. And a lot of them have my little daughter looking peeking over and peering in. So we could probably make a time lapse of her upbringing.
Oh,
Those.
that would be fun.
That would be. How do you guys approach weddings differently than other photos, booth services?
I think we just over deliver. Like we always prepare ourselves, and like Zach said, kind of touching base on the last portion is just preparing ourselves fully, making sure we have doubles of everything, test our test shots, and making sure that we are prepared, getting there a little bit early. And that's one of the benefits too. We don't add that into our pricing. We just show up like extremely early to make sure everything goes well. We're taking our test shots and delivering because we want the same quality, right? Whatever we're delivering is what we expect from ourselves or from any vendors. So I think that's pretty much for my end when it comes to expectation.
We like to find too what like is the most important for the experience there, and when then we get to know the crowd, right?
Our
Who's
favorite.
who's the parents that it's like find out someone it's really important that they get photos with their grandkids or something. Then we're gonna make it happen. And for the bride and groom, as any vendor should, make sure we're definitely catering to them. And while the photo booth is primarily for the guests, like when we have a line and see the bride and groom look over there and they think like, oh, well, I don't want to jump in. You're the bride and groom.
Yeah, this is your show.
Whenever you want. And we will kick people out temporarily with a smile, bring bride and groom in, get them as many photos as they want, and then we get back to the guests. So we just want everyone to have a good time. Like it's a really bad feeling if everyone involved didn't love it. And luckily we've been, blessed enough to have really good.
Yeah. If somebody's on the fence about hiring a photo booth, what would you tell them?
Get down from the fence, please.
All right.
Dad jokes will come out.
Do
this
it.
One can get. This one can get.
So sorry. Okay, that's funny. Sure. Oh, okay. And then you said dad jokes, and then I had to think about it a little bit, and I was like, oh, on the fence.
Just call me when you have a more appropriate place to talk from. Sorry, I like jokes.
I love it.
They suck.
No, I love dad jokes. That one I wasn't.
Your question. Say it again.
Yeah.
She's rethinking the question.
What was? Because I went out of order. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah,
I thought that
someone's on
would
the
flow.
fence.
Yeah.
It's really like, why are you on the fence? Is it a budget thing? Is it a, well, how are you guys better thing? Again, it's the experience with us because we don't, or rarely do we have another attendant other than us. It is 90+% us. If we're double booked for an event or for a day, then we have close people we work with that can go handle an event, and they're amazing. We love them, and they put on a great experience as well. So, man, I'm gonna go on a tangent on this. If they're on the fence and it's budget related, that's another one of the things people don't like to hear, but I'm a big fan of. Like if it's budget and then you have a big guest count, that's a kind of a kicker here. Eliminate your guest count. Like not all of it, obviously, but if you got 200, 300 people coming and you're like, well, we don't have a budget for the photo booth. Like, all right, so not that the guest experience is all the photo booth, but if you're making cuts on the experience for the guests, maybe make it awesome for less people than make it not as awesome for more people.
Yeah.
And some people that just won't work. They have to have that many people. But there were people at our wedding I didn't know who they were. Right?
Really?
No, I'm sure one of us knew pretty much everyone, but could we have gotten by with 50 people less?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and that way, like, you get more quality time with those people versus getting a quick hi bye to everybody when you really want to spend like quality time with like a certain few.
Exactly. And I think that just leads up to our wedding. Like we had two different weddings, so because due to COVID.
Oh, okay.
But if we look,
It sounds like we have other spouses and stuff.
No,
House wedding, and then we had a regular wedding.
but
That's not weird.
like we look back on it and we're just like, we didn't get to make the rounds to say thank you to everybody that showed up, right? We didn't even know who all showed up before they left. Because everyone hits that whole, okay, they're doing the ceremony, they're doing cocktail, they're doing first dance, and they're doing cake cutting and food. So everyone knows the timeline on what to expect, that we didn't get to go back and see who showed up, right? We didn't get to say hi. We didn't say thank you. So having the photo booth, you get that instant gallery at the end of the night. The bride and the groom gets an instant gallery.
That's nice.
And they get to go back and look at the experience that their guests actually had. And I wish we got that experience. I wish we knew what entertainment or excitement that they got through our special day.
Yeah.
And I
But
think too on the guest experience part of it, when you think back on the day, it's like, and if someone is on the fence, when you're out taking family photos and sunset photos, what are your guests doing?
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they're partying with us.
Yeah. Right.
Or
Well,
whichever
and
photo company people go with.
that's such a great way to make sure that like everybody gets a photo, or you get a photo of everybody, because again, like the photographer is probably out doing sunset photos, or obviously their main priority is the bride and groom. But everybody else, like, you're getting dressed up, you still like want to get a picture, and this is a nice way to get a nice picture.
Yeah.
Plus then the bride and groom have those memories, because you're not like probably not going to be like, hey, this is the picture I took at your wedding, this is my selfie. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to text that to them. I mean, depending, but yeah.
Right. And this also leads up to our live portrait as well. So if you end up booking the live portrait with our photo booth, that gives the opportunity to also have the bride and the groom sit in front of our camera. And then we kind of pair up with our DJ or whoever the DJ is and just kind of announce, hey, we're going to get photos with bride and groom, and this is your opportunity to kind of come over.
That's
Well, that
Hello.
was something we never planned on. It
Yeah.
just happened organically. And then we were like, this is a really cool experience for everyone to get great quality photos with the bride and groom.
yeah,
So we sat them on a bench and we speed rounded people through it.
amazing.
Thank you.
So you know how a photographer will go out with bride and groom and take the family combination photos, and there's like 50 combinations, and I'm only speaking from my experience,
No, absolutely.
right? And
I
that
have the same experience.
So yeah, they got 50 combinations, and all those photos gonna get used.
No, but it is for like certain people, so
It's to make certain people happy, and the
mm-hmm,
families. But it just took bride and groom away from all their guests
mm-hmm.
for like 30 minutes while the guests are hopefully having a good time back there. So this happened so naturally where bride and groom came up, they're like, we want to take photos with everyone when we were doing the live studio thing. And we're like, let's grab a bench. And we sat them down and we did the family combos, right? Without us like planning it. It's just get in and then get shots with them and get out.
Yeah.
And the next group came in, and we ended up shooting probably 50, 60 different combos. And it's not just with the family, it's with the guests as well. So everybody got their photo with the bride and groom.
Yeah.
And the coolest thing was the photographers got to sit down and eat.
That's nice. Because this whole time you're explaining it, I'm like, how nice would it be to not have to edit like those different combinations? Because nobody really pays attention. And then it's nice that the bride and groom don't have to coordinate whose photo goes where, and it's printed. So like win win win.
Yeah.
That
All
is
around.
nice.
And for us, when everyone's like, oh my gosh, look at this. And it's like, we're standing there and we're like, we're excited because they're excited, but then he's still shooting. And so you're just kind of like rushing the whole process, but also making it like an enjoyable experience with the quality.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a brilliant idea. What's your favorite part of a wedding day?
What did I say? I don't remember.
I think it's whenever, all right, this was weird about it. Whenever a couple drinks are in people, the sweet spot, because they're also uptight and you know, they're around people you don't know or haven't seen maybe for a long time.
Weird family dynamics.
Always weird family dynamics. Part of what makes weddings great. And then you finally, everyone loosens up. You know, you got a good DJ and the music's going and everyone's having a good time. And that's when people start getting creative and a little more loose and natural with their photos. Those are the best photos.
Yeah.
The ones where no one's trying hard. It's a little more posed for the studio setup.
Yeah.
But for the photo booth, it's like, guys, this is, you know, professional quality photos, but that doesn't mean you got to stand like your professional model in these. Have fun.
JC Penney portraits.
Love those.
Yeah.
I'll be an advocate for them.
Are you being sick?
As many years as they have left, I want to take awkward family.
Oh, okay.
Zach loves them.
Perfect. Those are fun though. So your favorite part is that?
Just because that's when guests get fun.
Yeah.
Like the most fun. They're always fun, right? But that's when we really get to engage with them and get to know them. You know, if there's 400 people there, you don't get to know everyone as well, but you see the same people come back. You see the kids come back too and take more photos. And, you know, someone will be like, hey, I'm looking for this person. And we'll create like a mob to go find them. And we'll find them. And sometimes they forget their prints. And, you know, one of the younger guys that was there would be like, I got a mission for you. And like, just really like to engage with the guests and be a part of the experience. And we don't ever want to feel like a vendor. Not that it's ever bad to feel that way, but we really want to be immersed with the guest experience.
And I think my favorite is we've had bridesmaids or girls or guys come through the photo booth and they want to take individual photos so they can either put it on their Tinder.
Yeah.
We've had some Tinder ones.
So
we've had LinkedIn headshots where the we broke our rule about like when the bride and groom have a branded overlay for the photo, and he's like, dude, I could really use one for LinkedIn.
I mean, because it's so quick. It's just one. You're already dressed up.
We took the overlay off just for him because we didn't have a line, and we shot his LinkedIn photo and airdropped it to him, and then
That's awesome.
that's his new.
Hopefully he got a job. That's awesome. What's your guys' least favorite part of a wedding day?
Fighting sprinklers is
Yeah.
normally sucks. I don't know if it's hectic loading in. And it takes us about 45 minutes to set up. So normally we're an hour to an hour and a half early. And sometimes if it's like you have to park all the way out there, it's on the third floor, there's no.
Or you're dealing with ice and on a hill.
Oh yeah, winter stuff too. We've
At
some winter weddings, and sometimes the roads are sketchy, or if we went to this one resort and there's 10 different buildings it could be at. And when you search the address, it goes to like one random maintenance building in the middle of it all. And you're like, where is this? And that's why like a day of coordinator is so valuable, because you're like, please tell me where to go.
Yeah.
Because I do not want to miss, because if you show up at the wrong time, now you're like, you got a cart full of gear, and
yeah.
It's walking down.
Over.
And you're possibly in heels.
Oh.
It's like, oh gosh. Okay, and so you're like just like ice skating out there.
Yeah, that would not be my favorite either. What's a common misconception couples have or people have just in general about photo booths?
They're all the same, because they are all the same. They're not. And like we own a iPad only booth, and we have DSLR professional camera booth, and we see other people that go with lower quotes on, well, I'm gonna go with them, it's half the price or whatever it may be. It's like these are not the same things. You're not comparing two of the same things. I mean, it's the front of your phone essentially is camera versus a professional camera. You zoom in and you will see very quickly that you're not going to print one of those.
Yeah.
Depending on the event, that could be fine, a social party or something like that. You're just going to take some fun photos, props, involved in that, and you're just going to be silly throughout all those. Then that could be a great experience for that. Like for weddings, we highly encourage you to not use an iPad only booth. And a lot of them look the same, unless you see, like even ours, our camera is like through a little hole like this big. And if you don't know what you're looking for, you would never know. Yeah. So that is a big misconception, is like, well, I got a photo booth. They have a photo booth and theirs is cheaper. It's like, well, all right, now you're talking about a piece of tech that's not the same, and be more worried about your experience than the cost and the gear.
Yeah. Yeah, because even as a guest, looking back to that wedding that I had talked about earlier, it I don't know if it was just the lighting setup or what it was, but I do remember, and maybe this is just like the photographer part of me, but I remember seeing the quality and I was like, that's okay, I don't know, but I kind of judged a little bit on that because I mean, you can't afford a nice thing. I don't know. But it is I don't know if that was just me being picky or if that was how other people saw it too, but it's definitely something that guests notice. I mean,
for sure. And when it comes to using that photo, sharing that photo, and a lot of times you don't print with a iPad booth.
Yeah.
If you can, the quality, isn't fantastic. That's not something that survives on the fridge as long, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
We have plenty of times where family members will take the digital and go print them, and blow them up. So now they have a family photo because grandkids just got married, or the kids got married, or cousins, or whatever it may be. And that's the only photo they're going to have together for a long time.
Yeah.
And you need the quality to be high enough to.
Yeah. What's your hot take on overlays? Do you like them? Do you hate them?
Simple. A trend that has been going on for a while and probably has existed for many, many years is just simple initials.
That's nice.
Okay, it's just up in the corner, especially if we're doing on black and white, and we'll do simple initials. And the farthest extent of how that style normally goes is with the date.
Yeah. And
we really like that because it gives whoever's looking at the photo an idea of what it was when it was.
Yeah.
So we like that. As far as complicated, we do corporate events as well. And our kind of rule is simple backdrop, more complicated template or overlay, or more complicated backdrop, super simple overlay. You can't do both.
Yeah.
You shouldn't even do one. You can do in both. You got a crazy Christmas kind of backdrop with ornaments and lights and all that. If you try to put a lot of elements on an overlay that goes on top of that, and then you have someone come in with a ugly sweater that lights up, you're like, there's so much going on in this photo right now.
We've seen it.
Yeah. We like simple, clean backdrops and then simple overlays. because the star of the show isn't the template or the backdrop, it's the people that's
Yeah. Also, sorry, referencing it one more time. I guess I just didn't have a good experience with this photo booth because they had this, and I know that this is in part probably the couple, but they had a complicated overlay, and I was like, I'm not going to use this photo. Like, sure, it's fun, but I'm not going to use it. Like, and they're not going to keep it because it's me. So it's like,
Well, and it's funny you say that because we've gone to weddings or events where the template is so complicated or complex, and I've cut off certain parts of the and just keep it on the fridge to make it simple.
yeah.
But yeah, I totally know what you mean.
people crop ours all the time and
Yeah.
then post it, and we're like, whatever.
It's not.
They paid us to give them these photos,
Yeah.
so we don't mind whenever they cut it. Our logo doesn't go on any events photos that is paid for. Now, if we do like a donation to one of the causes we support, then we put our logo on there, and those get cropped like.
Going into logistics and pricing, how far in advance should couples book you?
So I think with photo booths, unfortunately, we are at the last of the line to get booked, right? Because you have the books, right? Your venue, your photographer, and you have to feed people. So then your caterer,
Okay.
your DJ, and now it's like, well,
Hair and makeup.
Yeah, hair and makeup. I mean,
That's
really
very important.
everybody before
Ladies.
us.
Planner.
Yeah.
And then, well, what about the guests? What are they going to do? And we're there with like booking cornhole or photo booth. It depends on the experience people want to have. Hopefully they go with a great guest experience when they go with a photo booth. And we've heard of some other cool guest experiences that are becoming more popular now. Yeah, so we get booked usually, it's about 50-50, either way late. They're like, hey, we're getting married next month, and we just realized we need to have a photo booth, and we really want to have one. And hopefully we have dates available at that point. Or the super planners that exist that are like, we're getting married in
2026.
Yep, we want to book you, and we've had competing dates for some of those, and then a lot of the times for the last minute, like somehow you pick the last Saturday in October. It's September right now, and we only have one photo booth on that day, so we can support another one. We can somehow make this work. And yeah, so I'd say most of them are either way far in advance or really last minute. Like when I say last minute, I mean like 3 to 5 months out.
It's been like the closest last minute, like next week.
Yeah.
Really?
We've had a next week. We have one right now that we're talking to that's next Saturday.
What's today? Monday? I mean, all right.
So we'll see if that one pans out.
Yeah.
It's like we can make that work. And it's a 2-hour away event as well. It's like we can make that work.
Yeah.
But can you?
Yeah. So with it being so last minute, or just on the last, like being last on the totem pole in general, like your words, not mine.
That's totally true.
Do you guys find that you have a lot of like budget constraints? Because I mean, at that point, like you feel like you would know like what you have left in your budget.
I think absolutely. I mean, like we only have this much we're working with because that's not a priority. Like a guest experience is not a priority, right? Normally the guest experience prioritize is the DJ, and not everybody dances. And with the photo booth, it breaks that apart from dancing to getting photos or just pulling people into that. But I think with that being said, it's always budget. And it's like, well, we only have this to work with. And it's like, okay, well, I don't think we're the photo booth for you. I mean, we want to deliver and we don't want to like cut prices, or what we try to do is what can they afford to take off of our price sheet? So we can deliver an experience, but we may not offer you like a print, to take home. You might have the digital option. Or if you want the prints, then we may take / couple hours or an hour off the time.
Yeah, there's usually ways that we can bring the price down. We started like, what do you want for the experience? And we all want this, times our budget only allows for this. And it's like, well, your price for this is $1,400, but our budget's $1,000. It's like, well, what's the most important aspects of what we're talking about here? And they're like, well, I really want the printing. It's like, all right, that's a non-negotiable. So we'll have to have printing. Do you really care about the custom branded everything? And they're like, not at all. It's like, all right, well, that'll save me graphic design time.
Yeah.
And I can shave that off and go simple initials, or, some or none at all. And we can drop some money off there. Or if they were wanting to do 4 hours, and it's like, are you going to have speeches and first dances and any of that? Maybe we're only doing 3 hours now. Like, let's look at your timeline for the day, and we can probably find a way to save you some money there.
Yeah.
There's always a way. And I think if I had to give some advice to anyone that would be considering booking an event, is tell us, don't just get a quote. You're not shopping for a thing. We're not all the same.
Yeah.
So you came to us because you liked the experience, at least from what you've seen online or heard from referrals.
Or at another wedding.
Yeah, so let's find out a way that you can have that experience, or at least most of it. But if you don't bring us your obstacles, then we can't help you get past them.
Yeah.
You know, if we say, you want all this, well, all this costs this, and you're like, not in our budget. That was just the beginning of the conversation. So yeah, tell us what doesn't work or what's not that important to you so that we can get more in your budget. Or if you want more, which, you know, is less of the times for that conversation, but like actually want it more extravagant, because we love that, because we can go really custom on things. We can get into custom backdrops. We can collaborate with our friends and vendors and go with a whole flower wall, you know?
Yeah.
We saw one that was like 8,000 live roses or something crazy.
Was that at the chateau?
So we saw that wall and like, this is insane. Like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just think of the photo booth as just like, it's a photo booth or it's not a photo booth. Like, there's so much more to it. It's such an experience that we can, you know, really add on things. Like, we even have an option to do video testimonials with the photo booth. So kind of like an audio guest book where you pick up the phone and you leave a voicemail, pretty much, or a video or an audio message for the bride and groom. You can do that with the video with our photo booth. And 0 people have done it, which is wild to us. But it's like, okay, you just don't see the value. And then if you don't, then we're not going to try to sell it to you.
Yeah.
We're not salespeople.
Yeah. So it's the couples, not the guests.
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, like with touching on the backdrop, so with pricing, if you have an extravagant backdrop that you already have paid for, like that $8,000 wall,
Yeah.
I mean, utilize that. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have to bring our backdrop then. We could still take photos in front of it. So why would you want your guests to just use their iPhone camera and just take photos of that when you can have our photo booth or even a live portrait be taken in front of that whole wall? Or if you have like a really nice wall with a brick wall, you don't need a backdrop. You can just use that. And that we can kind of work with you when it comes to pricing. So just kind of tell us, like, sit down, get us on the phone, and we'll just go over those options with you too. And most of the venues, like, we're pretty familiar with, so what they offer, what does it look like,
Where the best spots are.
yeah, exactly.
What does a typical package look like? What's like your standard package, and what does it include?
So yeah, our standard wedding package is like cost-wise as well.
If you want.
Yeah, so our standing wedding package for like 3 hours for this year is around $1,200. And so that includes up to 4 hours. And if it's here in town, you know, within 25 miles or so, if it's 30 miles, we don't care. Whatever, we're not nickel and diamond people. As part of our package pricing structure is it's not a la carte everything. If you want to add stuff on, sure, like you want to have an additional attendant, we have set prices for that stuff. But the average package is 3 to 4 hours, $1,200, and includes prints, and then we customize all of the photo overlays, the digital experience, which is like the screen on the photo booth. And that includes, you know, setup, an attendant on site. A lot of times we just bring another attendant, so it'll be Noi and I, depending on the guest count. If it's big, we need someone to help kind of manage the lines. That's me, and hand out prints. Super qualified for that job. And Noi becomes like the face of the interaction with the photo booth and taking photos there. So I'm trying to think what else just off the top of my head.
So on our screen, like the touch and activation, we have like the couple's photos. You can kind of get really crazy and fun with that too.
It's actually like a fun thing.
That's where we enjoy
that
it.
we do, like a little special something that we do. And I don't know if anyone else does it, but engagement photos. You pay money for engagement photos, you get them, you post them once, and that's like the end of the road
Or
for
save
those
the
photos.
dates.
Yeah, or save the dates. But a lot of times you don't get enough out of that. So we always ask for their favorite, like, vertical engagement photo, and we normally incorporate that on the front of the booth and add motion stuff, you know, for like touch to start and things like that on the front of the booth. So when that's like the initial wow factor when the bride and groom come up, because they are excited about the booth and they're like, is that our engagement photo?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we made sure to include that on there. And he's like, that's so awesome to get to see it again.
Yeah.
And that's one of the fun little things that we do.
I like that. That's sweet. Because like you said, like you don't get to see them, I mean, other than like for the save the dates or the invitations.
Yeah.
What happens if there are technical issues during the wedding?
We've ran into those. So we only go with, normally it's software based. If it's tech based, I mean, this has been my profession for over 10 years now. Like if it's a technical thing, I can usually sort it out pretty quick. If it's with the software and connecting to the software, with the photo booth interface. We only use softwares that we have 24-hour support with. So there was one wedding 2 hours away in the middle of, it's either here in town or 2 hours away, like for every event. There's no 1 hour away. So it's always that somehow.
Well, I mean, I don't really feel like there is anything like noteworthy 1 hour away. I mean,
Just we love it. They have a cigar lounge.
Oh, Anderson Reserve.
They're sweet. We love it
Yeah.
out there. Haven't done a wedding there, but
they're sweet and sweet.
No, it doesn't make you pick one. You can have both sweet and sweet. So there's no, or we're having issues with the printer. Like, and again, this is something probably no one would notice, but we are like 1 millimeter off on the overlay alignment on the printer, and I needed to adjust how it printed. And we're having issues where on the software, when I made an adjustment, it like would forget that adjustment. Mm-hmm. And so, and you know, we show up early, so we have time to test these things.
Yeah.
And there's like no service down this hill. And so I am like 50 yards away, standing on a hill, like turn around, trying to make sure my phone's in the right spot with customer support. And then I would be like, all right, let me go try that. And I'd set my phone down and I'd run down the hill, try that, come back. That's not working. And then, you know, in 10 minutes we figured it out, and then we were ready to rock before the wedding started. And yeah, so like that kind of stuff, there's been a couple things that have happened, and it's almost always before the event. Like you test it at home and everything's perfect. And then you set it up. And you haven't even shut the booth down. You know, the iPad's still on. For the iPad is just the interface. How are you forgetting how to work?
Yeah, we do this every week. What are you
just
doing?
Now you're doing it wrong. Why? So
Yeah.
I'd say 99% of the time it is before the event. And then we get it dialed in, and then we start the event and rarely have a hiccup. I think the only downtime we really have is changing over the printer media. It's pretty much the printer paper that's in there. And that takes like 2 minutes. And then we're back up and running.
And I can see Zach stressing over here, and he'll tell me, "This is what's happening," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "That's what I mean." And it's like we're just kind of going back and forth, yelling at each other. I'm like, "Are you serious? Like right now?" And then I'm like checking my clock, and it's like 10 minutes before the event starts. I'm like, "Oh God."
And then I would say every time though, when we start the event, and it's like we're good.
Yeah,
he does.
Maybe that's your ritual.
I'm trying to think of what else on that one. Oh, occasionally, I would say every like 1,000 flash,
God.
it will misfire and just not shoot one.
And guess what happens?
With the bride and groom?
Exactly.
Naturally.
Yeah. And, you know, everyone's been understandable because it's so rare. I mean, we go full events without having a misfire, and then we might have one during a whole 3-hour wedding, and it's with the bride and groom. And you're like, are you kidding me?
Don't embarrass me like that.
Yeah, like we were working so well together, Light, and now you pull this on me. But it's always fine. We're like, that one didn't work out. We'll just retake it. So it's never an issue. But it's to us, it's like, that's so embarrassing.
You're like sweating, and you see the line and how much time do they have before they have to move on to their next timeline.
And it took an extra 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So
But we're always freaking out.
Yeah.
And on the print thing, like, no one probably would have noticed it.
No.
But we noticed it.
Yeah.
And so it's important that we fixed it.
Well, and I feel like just even as a human being, like you understand that you don't have an endless supply of printer paper, so yeah, you're gonna have to change it. But I get that also as a vendor, you're like,
yeah.
And you know, we practice that stuff too, so that when it is live during an event, like it's no stress. Like, well, let me just change this out real quick, or we time it. And occasionally there's some waste to that, but it creates a better experience for everyone. So if we're running low and there's like 20, 30 prints left, instead of waiting until we run out of every last print, you're like, all right, we're gonna do speeches now. We're like, all right, we're swapping it now, and we might have to burn a little cost and eat that on our end, but it's worth it to us to make it a smoother experience. So whenever they come back to the booth, like we're not having to stop it for 1 second, so everyone can keep going.
That's
That's
awesome.
a big deal when there's a larger guest count for a wedding.
Yeah, because especially during that downtime, that way you don't have to worry about a long line and just like holding everybody up. What are some tips for couples who want to make the most of a photo booth experience?
Man, let's see. One, use it. Pretty much any photo booth company will make sure that your priority, like any vendor for your wedding, right, is going to make sure you're priority and taken care of. If you walk up to the photo booth and kind of like what we touched on a little earlier about pulling people to the side, like we're kicking everybody out, bride and groom come in, they can do whatever they want. You want to sit there for the next 45 minutes, your photographers might get pissed at you, anyone in charge of the timeline, but the photo booth people are going to let you do whatever you want as long as you're having fun. Like, that's all we care about. What was the original question again?
How would you make the most of the experience? Or what advice would you give to the couples to make the most of the photo booth experience?
place us in a position like close to the bar or somewhere
Yes.
where there's a lot of traffic.
Mhm.
If you want the most out of the photos and want like a ton of different photos, put us where there's a lot of traffic, not in the back where the bathroom is or behind the building or like way in the far back in the corner.
Never in a separate room.
Yeah, never.
Oh, yeah.
You're definitely not getting it. It's just hard because like you're trying to sneak away or your guest is trying to sneak away if you're doing something like cutting the cake or some people will sit there, but if you're just still in the same room and witnessing that, it will get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even like thinking about that, it's nice to like have like a line of sight. Like, oh, is there a line right now? Oh, there's
Yes.
not. Like,
Yes.
let me run over there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think in a lot of that stuff, in order for them to set them up for success, we try to get ahead of it. And we're like, think about where you're going to put the photo booth, like in advance. And a lot of that we figure out with the coordinator so that they have that great experience. So you do have that line of sight. You can see, all guests can see where the photo booth's at. We know there's going to be a line. So maybe don't put us in a place where that line is going to really piss off everybody else that's trying to get their food for the day.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're by the bar. We're cool with that because the people that are coming right out of the bar are normally having a lot of fun and they jump right in to the photo booth. We bring a table just for drinks.
Yeah.
So they have somewhere to set them.
That's smart.
The best prop though.
Is a drink?
Yep.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, we try to do everything so that and give recommendations so that they do get the most out of the photo booth and we don't even have to have them kind of figure out what they need to do to ask us to. Ask them in advance so that they are set up for getting the most out of the photo booth. Another thing we do is we work with the DJ to announce it, and then we'll go recruit sometimes.
Yeah.
If it's kind of like chill, like a little too chill for a wedding, we'll go over and be like, you guys, photo time. Like 90% of the time, like, oh my gosh, we totally should. And they jump up and go get photos, and then there's a line. Like, it just takes that first group to get going through, and then other people follow.
The guest book, like nobody wants to be the first one for some reason.
They really
That's
set
odd.
the tone, like
Yeah.
giant signatures today, or
Yeah.
are we
Or
writing
just-
long paragraphs?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, because I've thought about this, because I'm like, I see a guest book and I'm like, oh, has anybody else did it? I'm like, nope, not going to be the
Yeah.
first. Because, like, what if you mess up? Like,
Or
that-
what if your signature is the only signature?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, it really, like, people like to follow.
We'll take photos with the people too at first. Hey, someone's got to start this train. And
Yeah.
they'll be like, I don't want to be the first. Be like, I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
And so we'll take photo. A lot of the galleries we have like are, some other vendor or some of the or groom's party or whoever.
That's fun.
That the first photo is like them and us.
Or we've had guests where they're like, jump in the photo with us.
Time. The amount of solicited shot requests we get, and I don't mean photo shoot shots,
Yeah.
is a lot. And depending on the event, sometimes it feels a little more appropriate. But yeah, there's always someone that's like, we're doing shots.
Yeah.
And like, you are doing shots, man. You're
I will
gonna do
support
great."
you.
Yeah. Yeah, people, and I think that is just like a testament to kind of like our character at events where people feel comfortable enough, and it's like, we're all friends now.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, the amount of friends we create with brides and grooms and the guests from their weddings is like, it's wild. We know so many people now and have created a lot of great relationships and have had a lot of fun doing what we do.
Yeah. That's such a great feeling, too.
Yeah.
What's a small detail that makes a huge difference on the wedding day?
For the photo booth, or for, you think we like as a...
Maybe just in general, or, yeah.
Oh, and I know this one gets used a lot, but I would just want to reinforce it, is like, stuff's going to go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It's your special day. Also,
There's too many moving parts.
so many moving parts. And some of the details that you're so stressed about don't matter. It's cool if, everything's perfect and your custom cricketed something you have on every table is awesome.
Yeah.
It's your wedding. Don't stress about it.
Yeah.
If something gets left in the car and never even put out, no one's going to even know it was missed. And when you look back from the wedding, you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, it sucked because of placemats weren't right.
Yeah.
Like
that's
if you're
true.
a placemat vendor, you're going to be like, the whole thing sucked because the placemats were wrong. But as a bride and groom or the wedding party, like so many of those details just in the big picture don't matter. Don't stress them. We were stressed about a lot of those details at our wedding, and afterwards we're like, who cared?
Yeah. It was fun. It was a blast, or it wasn't. I mean, that's your vibe.
We just stressed ourselves out for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
One day.
And I think that just as a society, like, we put a lot of pressure on brides and grooms saying that, like, your date has to be perfect. Like, because you're spending all this money. But, I mean, did you have a good time? Did you get to see the people you loved? Did you get married?
Yeah.
That's probably the most important.
Hopefully you made it to the end.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah. So, I think that that's a good...
Selfless plug for photo booths. For not just us, but all the photo booth companies out there. You know, when people look back on their wedding and they're like, are you going to remember exactly what what songs the DJ played, hopefully for certain aspects of it, what the centerpieces were, what exact food you even ate, but you still have your photo.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely remember that, because odds are it's still hanging on the fridge.
Yeah.
And I think you got to ask yourself, like, as a bride and a groom, what matters to you?
Yeah.
Like, take the noise and the sound of, like, what your family and what your grandparents, unless they're paying for it, makes a little difference. But, I mean,
But even still, like, if they're willing to pay for that, I feel like it still comes down to you because it's your date. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, they don't have to pay for it if they don't agree with you, but they should also understand that this is their gift to you. You need to have it the way that you want it.
For you to have your special day, not for them to have their special day for you.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So everyone else can get bent.
Pretty
It's your
much.
special day.
Just ask yourself, is it important? Is this something that we look forward to? All the weddings you've been to, like, what did you remember? Just use that take.
And that goes for the guest count too.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you want me to invite all these people to my wedding.
Yeah.
And yeah, you might be helping out with a little bit, but the overall cost is still on us. And every scenario is unique. But this isn't your wedding, mom or dad or whoever.
Grandma, grandpa.
So thanks for your support, and I'm going to do it my way, and hopefully you can appreciate that. And if they can't, maybe you look at different support.
Yeah. Or maybe figure out budget cuts so that way you can afford it.
Yeah, totally. I think that gets missed so frequently.
Yeah.
You can find ways to cut, and a lot of times it starts with the guest count.
Mm-hmm.
But consider all the options to make it everything you want.
Yeah. Like, is it worth the mental load and mental stress of, like, having this, like, held over you almost? Or, like...
It's never.
Okay. Last question. What's one piece of advice you'd give to couples just starting their wedding planning journey? Or just a piece of advice to couples getting married?
One, don't forget about your photo booth to the last minute, because if there's someone you like, they might be booked that day.
Yeah.
But totally understand you do got to book the have-tos first. And then don't be afraid to tell vendors your obstacles.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big one. Like, if you're like, well, I'm fine with your price, but we just got hit by the catering's deposit by this, tell us. Like, we have our set, 50% up front, the second half, 30 days before the event. But if you were like, I want to use you, but I can't pay until 2 months from now, it's like, if we make a deal in good faith or whatever, $100-$200 deposit or something, like, we'll work with people.
Yeah.
We're humans. We want to work with you and figure out something that works.
Yeah.
And if you don't ask, the answer is no.
That's my thing. If you don't ask, then the answer is no. And with our wedding, I wanted a certain photographer. And I mean, we love our photographer, but she was the one I originally wanted was booked. And I'm like, and it's like deposit right away, right? I think if I asked if we can, hey, somehow make this work, I really want you, I like your style. Is there any way to make this transition? Like, within the next 30 days, can I get you a deposit? We would absolutely say yes, in good faith. So just talk to them, vocalize.
Well, and they have to understand, like, you're paying, like, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to so many different people.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, a lot of these wedding, I don't know what the average wedding cost is now, but it's not $5,000. Like, we get it. Like, I think a lot of us vendors too we've been married ourselves, so we went through all of this, and just being flexible on some level. Like, obviously we all have to get paid.
Right.
But do we have to if you're booking 12 months in advance versus coming to us 7 months in advance and booking with us, like, doesn't make that a difference at all to us.
Yeah.
So as long as we get paid ultimately before the event, then, like, we're more than happy.
Well, good.
And if it makes it easier on the wedding couple, then more happy to do it that way anyways.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah,
For having us, Ivy. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Fun.